over to make the tackle at the 45-yard line. They'll lose one. And, Jim, it looked like one of the problems there was a high delivery from George to Dickerson.
Yeah, but it's interesting that they get Dickerson into the passing play early. Here's Harvey. Boy, does he work hard. He just keeps coming after the player. He reads that screen and gets out and catches up to Dickerson and makes the tackle.
When we talked with Ron Meyer about going up against the Cardinal defense, he said that guy right there, Harvey, is a real well-kept secret around the NFL. He compared him to a young Derek Thomas, although it's hard to get younger than Derek Thomas of the Chiefs.
Yeah, Harvey admitted to us that he studies a lot of LT, Lawrence Taylor tapes, to see how he does it.
They lose one, 2nd and 11. Time for George, incomplete. Albert Bentley slipped out at the 50-yard line. That kind of threw his momentum off, and he couldn't hang on to the George pass. There was a penalty flag down on the play, too.
Yeah, and the way the Colts are reacting, it looks like it'll probably be a holding call. Bentley should have had that pass. A lot of the players were complaining about the footing.
Holding, 62 is declined. It'll be 3rd down.
So the penalty is on the right tackle, Brian Baldinger. They decline the penalty, and it will become 3rd down and 11. We talked with Baldinger last night. He feels that his experience around the NFL lends itself to this offensive line, and he has the ability to play a lot of position. Now we'll take a look at George on 3rd down and 11. Jesse Hester in motion. And George misses Hester out at the 30-yard line of Phoenix. Coverage on the play by Cedric Mack, and so George and the Colts offense off the field, and on comes Hunter Rothstark.
Yeah, not an especially good series right there for George. He threw the high screen pass to Eric Dickerson, and then Albert Bentley came back and dropped one, and then he was high over the middle. So he has to settle in, and that'll happen to young quarterbacks in road games. His family's here. That might have been a distraction last night.
Ron Stark will punt it away to the return specialist, Vi Sikahema. Stark is having an exceptional year. You saw his numbers. He's put 17 out inside the 20-yard line. Sikahema to the 25-yard line. That's where the Cardinals will begin. The tackle on the play made by Scott Radisick, the linebacker out of Penn State. All right, let's pick up the Cardinals offense for you now and meet a good offensive line. Really helped out, Joe Bugel says, by the addition of Bill Lewis, the center of Plan B free agent from the Raiders. In the backfield, Rosenbach comes off a great game last week against New England. Johnny Johnson, the rookie running back, maybe the rookie of the year, certainly in the NFC, comes in there. He's back in after a bad ankle. In the posse, another rookie wide receiver, Ricky Prohl out of Wake Forest, comes in. 1st and 10, Phoenix at their own 25.
40. Round 40. Hut, hut, hut.
There's a cadence there of Rosenbach, and he almost had the nose tackle. Siragusa jump offside, and Johnson brings it out to the 29-yard line.
Which always amazes people, that the nose tackle would become close to jumping off sides. He's right there in front of the ball, right?
Siragusa, the rookie, out of Pitt. Also Vanderbeek in there. 2 rookies starting as they have some injuries along the front line. Hand is out of there. Armstrong is out of there. And Donnell Thompson is out of there, too. But we could see him play today. Then in the nickel, Alan Grant, Michael Ball come in. And the rest of the secondary. And there you see Chris Good is playing with a broken thumb. So he's playing with a cast on that thumb. 2nd down now and 6. Rosenbach loops it right over the middle. It's caught out at the 34-yard line by Roy Green. Now, Rosenbach had quite an eventful end of the week. He had an infected knee, and on Friday night, they placed him in the hospital because they had to put him on some antibiotics, Jim. Suddenly, he developed a fever, and he only got out of the hospital yesterday, made the team meetings last night.
Well, he fell in practice on his knee on Thursday, and he bothered the bursa sac, and that thing just sort of popped on him, and so that led to the fever. He's fine now. He seems to be able to just go and play, and that's what they expected with some rest and with some medication.
Jim Laslavic, the NFL doctor, to go along with NBC's fight doctor with the bursa sac.
That's right.
3rd down and 1. To the outside, and I don't think they got it. In fact, it looks like they didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Johnny Johnson is knocked down on the play by Mike Pryor, who was helped out by Jeff Harrod.
Yeah, but, you know, also on that play, which was a good job by the defense, take a look at the ref as he got knocked over, too. That's why the crowd was reacting. As here's the play, the Cardinals trying for a short yardage. Look out!
Bama Glass. Boy, what a block by Kennard on him, huh?
It's
Derek Kennard, the offensive lineman.
Don't try to catch 300-pounders.
Disappointing for the Cardinals on 3rd and 1 not to be able to come up with it with the great rookie Johnny Johnson running it. Rich Camarillo punts it away. Fair catch called for by Verdun, and he takes it out at his own 28-yard line. So the Colts get the ball back, and we'll be back to Sun Devil Stadium. No score right after this. Jim Donovan and Jim Laslavic with you. 9:59 remaining here in the first quarter. Each offense has had the ball once and punted it away. Jeff George, after Jim, interesting play calling there. After they got a first down on 2 successive plays on good runs by Dickerson and Bentley, then they went strictly up top and couldn't connect again.
I think they found themselves in a bit of a hole when that screenplay went for no gain. And then Bentley came back and dropped the pass. I think they'll go back to the run. I think they should go back to the run. The Cardinals are the kind of team they can run the ball on.
Big game for the Colts, trying to get to 500. They are 5-6 with 3 wins in a row. They've won 3 consecutive road games, too. So they're winning away from the Hoosier Dome. Here's Dickerson. Puts his head down and goes out to the 35-yard line. A good gain on first down. Let's go around the league right now. On Sunday, number 13 around the NFL. How do you figure out Pittsburgh in that AFC Central Division losing at home? Buffalo had a 24-0 lead, got a scare of their lives as the Eagles came back, but they hang on to win. Miami is blown out, so the Bills take over first place in the AFC East. They're in overtime at Soldier Field. Detroit playing well, and as you saw, Kansas City easily won. The Rams win, and Atlanta still can't win on the road. And we are scoreless as Dickerson on 2nd down and 3 gets up near a first down out to the 39-yard line, tackled by Anthony Bell. Now some more games going on Sunday, number 13 here in the NFL. 3-0 Denver leading over the Raiders. Raiders sliding now, Jim. Houston and Seattle scoreless in the first quarter. And the Jets lead on a field goal out in San Diego. 1st and 10, Colts, as Dickerson got the first down. Dickerson and Bentley in the backfield. From their own 39-yard line. Now they go to Bentley. Boy, he slips off a couple of tackles. Ken Harvey brings him down. He is helped out of the play by Lonnie Young and turns it into about a 4-yard gain out to the 42-yard line.
Yeah, Bentley kept working on that play, but so did the Cardinals. Harvey is really at the top of his game right now. Quite a story, too. Here's a guy who dropped out of high school. Was working at a fast food restaurant. As you see, Albert Bentley off to a pretty good start, 2 rushes for 15 yards. Worked his way back through junior college, went to Cal, played football there, ended up being a first-round draft pick.
2nd down, 7. High formation now for the Colts. They're at their own 42-yard line. The fake to Dickerson. George rifles it to Hester, and a big play for the Colts down to the 38-yard line. Lonnie Young makes the tackle on Hester, and what a reclamation project Hester is as we watch the play again.
Yeah, Hester, of course, unwanted by Atlanta last year, and he sat out. He was out of football. Here's George, the play fake, holds everybody, so there's nobody underneath in the passing lane. He gets the ball downfield perfectly, and for a receiver going across the middle, that's where he wants the football. Doesn't want to have to leave his feet, doesn't want to stretch out, so he's doing Hester a favor right there.
20 yards on the pass play. Jesse Hester, who was labeled as a guy that couldn't hang on to the football, but he's been having a great season with the Colts. We'll develop that a little bit more for you because he had some interesting things to tell us last night. George on a naked bootleg option play, throws it over the head of Bentley, as right in his face was Ken Harvey. He can expect that to be there all season long. Nobody picked up Ken Harvey on the play.
That's a real problem because Harvey, even with a guy on him, can cause trouble in the backfield. If you forget to block him, then you're in big-time trouble. This might have been a play that looked pretty good on paper, and then all of a sudden you try it out there, somebody blows an assignment, or the Cardinals line up in a defense that you don't expect, and that's what happens.
So it is 2nd down and 10. After the incompleted pass, we have 7:12 remaining here in the first quarter. No score from Sun Devil Stadium. Dickerson brings it down to the 31-yard line. Short of a first down by about 4 as Eric Hill got him down by the shins and knocked him down. And if he didn't get him, Dickerson looked like he had a lot of real estate out in front.
Hey, based on what they've done on the ground so far, I'd keep it on the ground. Of course, the passing situation here, Eric Dickerson trots off the field. He was the key last week, 143 yards rushing against Cincinnati and that opened things up for Jeff George.
So it's 3rd down and 4. from the Phoenix 32-yard line. They're in their posse set right now. Hester goes in motion. He's got one catch on the afternoon. George looking for Stanley Morgan. Can't get it. There was some contact down at the 3-yard line. Marcus Turner was in there. But Morgan could not get to the football, and Turner had pretty good coverage.
Yeah, very good coverage. And actually, George threw a ball out there that was catchable, and that's what you want out of your quarterback. As you see, some of the contact there definitely incidental.
So Dean Biasucci will come in and attempt a field goal. The spot will come at the 39-yard line, a 49-yard attempt on the season. 54 was his longest. That came against the Patriots in New England as he was assisted by a gale wind to his back in that game. Let's see if he can give them the lead. Perfect. 49-yard field goal by Dean Biasucci, and Ron Meyer and the Colts, looking for their 4th win in a row, are off to a pretty good start. Up a field goal. Welcome back, Sun Devil Stadium. Dean Biasucci nails a 49-yard field goal for the Colts, and they jump out to a 3-0 lead on their second possession as we have 6:17 remaining here in the first quarter. By Sikahema. And Terrence Flagler back deep. Boy, what a short kick here. Flagler had it hit him up at the 24-yard line, and it went out of bounds. Interesting, because if they had let that go out of bounds, Jim, it would have come out to the 35-yard line, but I think he ran up close to it and it hit him.
I don't think he had much choice on this play. He was concerned, of course, it's a free ball in a situation like that. He wanted to make sure that his team would come up with possession. And so, yeah, almost on the short hop, I think he made the wise decision, although it's going to cost him a few yards.
So now I got to ask you, was that a kick with that intention to almost like that pooch kind of kick, to pooch it in there?
I would say it was, only they didn't have streakers down that side of the field. I think he wanted to kick it to the right, obviously to keep it away from By, and didn't quite accomplish it.
Down 3-0, Cardinals with the ball at their own 25-yard line. Ernie Jones in motion. Fumble on the snap. There's a loose football. The Colts say they have it. Siragusa is right in there, the nose tackle, as Rosenbach misses on connections with center Bill Lewis.
Boy, this would be a big break for the Colts. Looks like they came up with the football.
Indianapolis ball.
Huge break. As you can see, Saragossa on the center, Timm, Bill Lewis, and the snap of the ball, there's just a bad exchange. Rosenbach never got it. He was looking up, looking away, maybe distracted, and Saragossa, the rookie free agent out of Pittsburgh, comes up with a big turnover.
What a character. When we talked with him last night, I said it was like looking at a heavier Fonz, wasn't it?
300-pound Fonz.
He said, swing your cameras down my way once in a while, and I'll give you a wave, and he certainly did there with the fumble recovery. Now, can they cash in? 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. Dickerson. Pretty good hit at the 18-yard line as they come up and smash heads there. McDonald comes in there and lays one on Dickerson.
A little bit surprised quite often in a situation like that, teams come with a play-action pass. This play works well, though, as Dickerson, always with the great vision and the great speed, gets outside and picks up a bunch of yards there.
Ball is down at the Phoenix 18-yard line. 2nd down 3. Dickerson got 7. Indianapolis showing signs that they could run the ball against the Cardinals today. Bill Brooks in motion. Back to Dickerson. He runs into the hands there of Eric Hill. The left inside linebacker brings him down at the 15-yard line. They are a yard shy of a 1st down. The Colts, in the last couple of weeks, in particular last week against Cincinnati, started to get turnovers and turn them into points.
Yeah, you know, Dickerson's holding on to the football much better, too.
Look at this. In the first 8 games, when they were losing, the turnover ratio, and they were minus 50 points. Last 3 games, plus 24, plus 4 on the ratio, and they're undefeated. And they come up with a big turnover here and have the ball deep in Phoenix territory. 3rd down, less than 1. Well, it's going to be very close, isn't it? At the 14-yard line, he had to get to the 14.
Ivy Joe Hunter was in there for the lead block, and Dickerson appeared to get enough yardage for the first down.
Well, let's wait and see. Jim Tunney, I'm sure, will call in the chains here for a measurement. The Phoenix crowd cheering their defense for the job that they did. No measurement. They say it's 4th down, and there's no field goal kicker coming in. Ron Meyer says, I'll tell you what, we're going to go for it here and get some big points out of this turnover.
I like this decision. Normally, in a case like this early in the game, I'd say go put some three more points on the board. But 4th and inches, you just got the turnover, go for it.
Oh, he's going to throw. Touchdown! Anthony Johnson, the rookie from Notre Dame. What a call by Ron Meyer.
Perfect situation for it. I'll tell you what happens defensively when a team decides to go for it on 4th down. The defense is kind of deflated. Okay, they think we got to try to stop him here. Perfect execution. You figure Dickerson, there's a good chance he'll get the ball again. Look how wide open he is. Just incredible as Anthony Johnson is all by himself in the end zone, and Jeff George calmly puts the ball into his hands.
Biasucci for the extra point, and a 10-0 lead. Oh, he hits the upright, and it sneaks through. What an adventure there. Touchdown pass by Jeff George, and a 10-0 lead for the Colts. We'll be back. Anthony Johnson, the rookie out of Notre Dame, catches a 4th down touchdown pass from Jeff George on 4th down and inches from the 14 of Phoenix. George throws a pass to Johnson. He makes the catch for the score.
And that's the life of a rookie. A hero 1 minute, covering kickoffs the next.
He's been a little bit disappointed because he hasn't been playing all that much. They had high expectations for him. He was their 2nd-round draft choice. But he catches the touchdown pass there. Here's Terrence Flagler from his own 4 for Phoenix. And bounces around out to the 23, the 24-yard line. A 20-yard return. Let's go around the NFL right now. These are the games that are going on. Denver leads on a field goal by Treadwell, 3-0. And San Diego on the board, 7-3. New Orleans on the board, 3-0 over Dallas. All first quarter scores, and 10-0 Indianapolis. Winners of 3 in a row, trying to get to 500. Jeff George just threw his 9th touchdown pass of his rookie season. 14 yards to Anthony Johnson on 4th down and inches. Now the Cardinal offense has been terrible so far in the first quarter. They fumbled on the first play in their last possession. Johnny Johnson carries the rookie out of San Jose State out to the 28-yard line. Now, Indianapolis is a team this year has really been trailing through most of the season. Look at that. They've only led 71 of 660 minutes, just close to 11% of the game. Ron Meyer has not been in the lead that much, but since they've turned it around now, like last week against Cincinnati, and certainly here today against Phoenix, they're jumping out in front, and they're winning because of that. 4 yards for Johnson on 1st down, 2nd and 6. Johnson again. Out near the 1st down to the 34-yard line. Tackled by Chris Good, and also in there on the play was Donnell Thompson.
Yeah, good news for the Cardinals. Tight end Walter Reeves, who had been to the locker room to have his thumb x-rayed, is back out there. He missed the first play of the series, but Joe Bugle would not want to be without his tight end. This team depends on the tight end to be more of a blocker than a receiver. They like to run the ball. Shades of the old Washington Redskin offense that Bugle, of course, was a big part of for so many years during the 80s.
Tight end Walter Reeves. Back in with his 3rd down inches. Again, it looked like they had a little trouble on the timing of that handoff by Rosenbach, as Dwayne Pickett is in there on the tackle of Johnny Johnson, but they should have the 1st down. Johnny Johnson sat out last week with the sore ankle, did not play, but he came into today's game with 801 yards rushing, and he'll add to that as he pads that with a 1st down carry there.
Yeah, well, a tough guy, too. And he played with a hamstring injury. When he hurt his ankle originally, it was in the first quarter against the Packers. He played the whole game, rushed for 103 yards in that ball game.
1st and 10. The Cardinals' first down of the day. Rosenbach up top for Ernie Jones, and it's incomplete at the Colts 45-yard line. Eugene Daniel is in on the coverage for the Colts. Jones off of a big game last week. against the New England Patriots, as he really has taken away playing time now from J.T. Smith.
Yeah, of course, J.T. Smith, the long-time veteran here in the NFL, played for a number of years. And Jones, one of those guys who came in last year, a seventh-rounder, wasn't a spectacular prospect, but he worked hard all season long, spent time in the weight room, worked with the coaches, learned the system, and he's been rewarded with some playing time here, and he's come through.
2:07 left here in the first quarter. 10-0 Indianapolis.
Round 20.
Rosenbach. This time he's on the money, and a drop by Jones. Just simply dropped the ball. You can't blame it on Rosenbach, but Jones had one right in his mitts.
Our sideline might pick up the sound, too. What a thud. Kind of a sickening thud if you're a receiver, as that ball sort of clanked off his hands. Oh, he had it. He had it. Just took his eye off it for an instant.
So it's 3rd down and 10. Kind of a lonely feeling, I'm sure, going back into that huddle after you miss one like that.
Go back and face the quarterback. Now, Rosenbach doesn't seem to be showing any effects of that bursa sack problem.
3rd down, 10. Incomplete. Over the hands of Ricky Prohl out at the 50-yard line. Jeff Harrod and Chip Banks were right in the face of Rosenbach, and in fact hit him when he was releasing the ball.
Yeah, that time bursa sack wasn't the problem. It was the rush put on by Harrod, as the Colts really seem to be wired in this ball game right now. Rosenbach has to go to the sidelines, and he has to talk to his receivers. He has to talk to his linemen. He has to take control of the ball game.
Camarillo in for his second punt of the day. Clarence Verdun, who made a fair catch his last time, standing back at his 21-yard line. Colts leading 10-0 as they have come out here and are taking the game right to the Cardinals. Verdun still fighting for an extra yard, goes out to the 26-yard line, and Jeff George and the Colts will take it over at their own 26 with a 10-0 lead, and we'll be right back. The Colts lead over Phoenix with 1:45 remaining. Rookie David Bavaro out of Syracuse is into the Colts defensive lineup right now.
Brother of Mark Bavaro, and he's in for Garth Jacks. You see Jacks, number 53, on the sidelines. Had some trouble yesterday morning with some dogs. He lives with his sister. She has a dog. He has a dog. The dogs were fighting. He walked out barefoot to separate the two pooches, and he got his foot chewed on. And so he's playing with a bit of a chewed up foot.
They couldn't stitch it up because it's a dog bite. First down, Eric Dickerson runs it out to the 28-yard line. They say it's really amazing that Jacks is even in uniform today. He's heavily taped up on his right foot. That's the foot that was attacked. The dogs were two chows that got into it.
Yeah, he's had some real bad luck over the years. Last year, driving back from Bible study, he was in an automobile accident that forced him to miss some time. And there you see Jacks right there. He'd love to be back in the ballgame. Great special teams player, too. And that hurts the Cardinals because they have to take him off of some of the special teams because they're not sure how long he can go.
It is 2nd down and 8. Dickerson got 2 on first down. A 49-yard field goal by Dean Biasucci and a 14-yard touchdown pass by Jeff George to Anthony Johnson on 4th down and inches after a Phoenix fumble. And the Colts lead 10-0. Jesse Hester cannot hang on a ball that was thrown way far to the outside. Let's get back to Jesse Hester. Just a real likable young guy who was out of football because he had the reputation from the Raiders and Falcons days that he couldn't hang on to the football.
Yeah, he was a first-round draft pick with the Raiders, and really they had high hopes for him. He said that they had just so much talent out there, he wasn't given enough opportunities. And his confidence level was real low. His brother, who was a postal worker, put together a highlight film. Just edited together all his highlights and said, here, look at this, you can still play football.
He was also helped out by a friend, Hassan Jones, from the Minnesota Vikings, that told him to stay with it, get back into it. Look out, George got hit from behind by Freddie Joe Nunn, but there's a flag down, and Freddie Joe Nunn could have been offside.
I think Freddie Joe had a head start. Freddie. So far this season, 6.5 sacks.
Offside defense, number 78, penalty is accepted. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
You got to wonder how George is going to come back from a big hit like this. You'll barely see it on the right-hand side of the screen. Freddie Joe Nunn, you can see his arm there as he gets off For no reason, he just jumped the count. Big hit on George. And Freddie, don't celebrate too soon. So George has to go back to the huddle, has to catch his breath, collect himself, call the play. And he's over on the sidelines now talking to his head coach. Appears that everything is okay with George.
Jeff George clearing the cobwebs out after getting hit. Back to the Jesse Hester story. Remember now, Hester has become the receiver for the Colts that Andre Rison was. Rison, of course, went to Atlanta in the trade that acquired the pick for Jeff George. So here's what Rison's done in '89 with the Colts: 38 receptions, 2 touchdowns. Hester here in 1990, 37 receptions, more yardage, and 4 touchdowns.
What a find Hester is. He's sitting at home in Atlanta and gets the call from the Colts. And the Colts say, hey, we're very serious about the fact that we want you to come to play. We think you have the talent. And, you know, Hester said, hey, it's really disgusting when you get these phone calls and all they want to do is have you come up, fly across country, and run a 40-yard dash, do some of those exercises, those jingle jangles, they can time you in that, talk to you, see what your attitude is, see if you're bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. And he said, hey, I told the Colts, I'm not going to come up unless you're serious about this, and they were. So for the Colts, who were criticized so much for letting Rison go, to have a guy like Hester come up and compliment Bill Brooks so much, I mean, that was the key right there. You need those 2 weapons side by side.
Now we're going to have a change at quarterback. Mark Herman's coming in for the Indianapolis Colts as George took a big hit from Freddie Joe Nunn when Nunn was offside in the last play and came in on the blindside blitz and nailed Jeff George. So here's Mark Herman into the lineup, and George is out. Bad news for the Colts if George has to stay out for a long period of time because he's playing that well. And it's 3rd down and 3 for Indianapolis. They're going to get a first down. They're going to get a big run. Albert Bentley brings it out to the 49-yard line of Indianapolis. Jim Waller and Rod Sadler chase the play down, but not before Bentley gets 16 yards. There's George getting the smelling salts administered to him over on the Colts sideline.
Yeah, that's one of those things where the team doctor comes over and says, what's your name? And you say, Tuesday. And they say, come on closer to the sidelines. We need to take you out of the ballgame for a while. At first, they were just repairing his shoulder pads, and then it obviously appeared woozy, so now Mark Herman is in there.
Ivy Joe Hunter at fullback, along with Eric Dickerson at tailback, and here's Dickerson, big hole. Down to the Cardinal 44-yard line. Tackle on the play by Harvey and also by Anthony Bell. And that should run the clock out here in the first quarter. A very productive quarter for the Indianapolis Colts, although there is concern on the sideline about Jeff George, who is woozy after getting hit by Freddie Joe Nunn. After 1, Colts lead 10-0. Jim Donovan along with Jim Laslavic back here in Tempe, Arizona. Jeff George got knocked out of the game by Freddie Joe Nunn. Had to come out of the ball game, but looks, Jim, like he's ready to come back in, although not right now as we start the second quarter. Mark Herman has taken over.
Yeah, 2nd and short.
Here's Eric Dickerson, and they'll get a first down to the 39-yard line. Let's go back and watch how Freddie Joe Nunn came in and delivered the blow.
Well, Freddie Joe Nunn, first of all, remember, was offsides on the play. He had a clean shot, and watch as George goes down. He lands on the football, and his head pounds against the turf with Freddie Joe Nunn on top of it. He had the concussion earlier in the season in the game against Buffalo.
That was the opening game of his NFL career up at Rich Stadium when Cornelius Bennett put him down to the turf, but George is back in there, so he misses only a few plays and comes in on 1st and 10 at the Cardinal 39-yard line. The Colts up 10-0. Bentley in motion. Dickerson reads the hole beautifully. Down to the 32-yard line, tackled by Jim Waller, but he only got him on the shin as he was going by.
If that's the case where you know the Colts are going to run the ball, why not gang up on the line of scrimmage? A quarterback was woozy, just came off the sidelines. You figure Dickerson's going to get it.
So the Colts rushing, there's their season average, but today in the first quarter, 72 yards. Ranked 28, but I have to think the way they're running the football the last couple of weeks, that's going to improve. That was for a full game, they were just averaging over 70 yards. Dickerson again. He might lose one there, back to the 34-yard line, tackled by Tim McDonald, who pressed up from his safety spot to make the hit.
Yeah, McDonald, good ball player. 2 straight years he has led the Cardinals in tackles. He's a leader again this year coming into this ball game with 85 tackles. He's picked off 4 passes. He leads the team in that category, and he's a leader back there. He's the kind of guy you can turn to for advice, the kind of guy you can turn to for encouragement.
Out of that rich tradition of good safeties coming out of Southern Cal. 3rd down 5. Shotgun for George. Oh, bad snap. And Harvey chasing George, but George unloads one into the turf.
Yeah, great job by George. First of all, to find the snap. He looked like a shortstop back there going deep into the hole. Picked the ball up and made the pivot. As the crowd wanted a grounding call. Look at the snap. Oh, my. You don't see that often from Donaldson. He's a great center. And here goes great presence by George. He knows where his receivers are. There's Pat Beach. So he has a pretty good case in saying that wasn't grounding.
All right, we're going to see a field goal trying a long one right here by Biasucci, who's 1 for 1 on the day, connecting from 49 yards. This will be from 52, his longest of the season, 54. Start to hold. He hit the upright. Field goal had distance, but just hit the pole. We'll be right back. Well, it's 10-0 Colts, and Dean Biasucci had enough leg on a 52-yard field goal attempt. He just hooked it a little bit to the right, and it hit the upright and bounced back.
You wonder if that's going to be a factor as the game goes on, because even the extra point he made, that was off the upright.
That's right. That one had a little yellow paint on it.
Although he has been good from, what, 49?
1st and 10 Cardinals. They have not done anything offensively. They're down by 10 as we have 12:43 left here in the first half. Best field position for them, though, and Johnny Johnson to the 39-yard line. He'll get 5, and it will be 2nd down at 5. Jeff Harrod, the leading tackler for the Colts, but look at Johnny Johnson. Bad news for the Phoenix Cardinals. As Johnson limps off, he's had a bad ankle.
That's the ankle he hurt 2 weeks ago against Green Bay. He sat out last week. And, you know, Johnson, boy, he's hungry to play football. 7th-round draft pick, a guy that was overlooked.
But now, what a luxury to be able to come in with their top draft choice. The Heisman runner-up last year, Anthony Thompson, who rushed for over 130 yards last week in getting his first start. Rosenbach can run, too. He is the 2nd leading rusher on the Cardinal team with over 300 yards rushing, and he gets a first down on a 15-yard scramble.
Yeah, there's Rosenbach. He checks his receivers, and he's not timid. He'll take off running. Some people think it's because maybe he's not taking enough time to look for the open guy. You see Saragusa right here on the nose. Lewis takes care of him, and there's a big lane. There's a big lane for Rosenbach to take off running. And watch, he goes for that extra yardage before he slides down. He has a pretty good case for a penalty there. He was hit by Chip Banks when he was on the ground.
Into Colts territory for the first time. Rosenbach. And it is almost intercepted. Eugene Daniel had it and then couldn't hang on.
Yeah, that's a deep out pattern, and that's a play that I'm sure Eugene Daniel has been salivating all week long in practice on, thinking, hey, if I get a chance, I'm going to go for it, as he jumps in front of Roy Green and almost comes up with it.
Now, does he hang back on a play like that and then just time it?
Yeah, you know, and I think with Roy Green out there, he figures he can maybe get away with something like that.
Rosenbach has missed on his last 4 passes, although one of them was a big drop by Ernie Jones that was right in his hands. That's Ricky Prohl in motion on 2nd down. Thompson. Nice run by the rookie.
That's a beautiful run.
And he's up near a Cardinal first down. Dwayne Bickett brings him down. He'll be short by about a half yard to the 36-yard line.
You see the replay here with Thompson coming off the bench. He's warmed up. He's all set to go now. Does a good job setting up his blocking right there and breaking the tackle of Jeff Harrod. Harrod's a great tackler. He's very active back to number 54, but that time Thompson was able to get away from him.
Johnny Johnson on the sideline. The other rookie from San Jose State with over 800 yards rushing, but with a bad ankle. Tried to give it a go here today, but limped out. Here's Thompson getting the first down, but he's really nailed by Jeff Harrod.
Yeah, I love the hit.
First down.
Love the hit by Harrod. He does get the first down. Jeff, a very sure tackler, number 54 out there.
First down Cardinals as they get their running game going. And since the insertion of Anthony Thompson into the lineup, they've got it going now.
Thompson was so cool about it last week after he rushed for all those yards, finally got his chance to play, gave the game ball to his mother, who was here to cook Thanksgiving dinner for him.
First and 10, Rosenbach. Flushed out of the pocket, and he runs it up the sideline to the 30 to the 29-yard line. So let's step out right now. Let's go to New York NFL Live Update. Here's Bob Costas.
All right, Jim, here's the way it ended in overtime. At Soldier Field, Jim Harbaugh goes up top to Neil Anderson, 50 yards for the touchdown. Bears win at 23-17. Earlier in OT, Eddie Murray of Detroit had missed a 35-yard field goal attempt into the wind. At 10-2, the Bears clinch a wild card. If Minnesota beats Green Bay tonight, Chicago wins the NFC Central outright.
All right, thanks, Bob. 9:35 remaining here in the first half. Indianapolis trying to get up on their 4th victory in a row. Second down for the Cardinals. 2nd and 6. Thompson. Not much there. Tackle on the play made by Tony Siragusa, the nose tackle. In on the stop.
You know, the Cardinals are just running the ball so well this year under Joe Bugle. Of course, he's the guy who was with the Hogs all those years in Washington. Look at the comparison between 1989 and 1990. That's per game average. They're rushing the ball over by 130 yards in 1990 on average. I mean, they're just getting it done with Bugle. He came into a nice situation here. An experienced offensive line, was able to pick up Bill Lewis, a Plan B guy who's a big center, 6'7". He's really helped solidify that front line.
Terrence Flagler is in the backfield now as the lone back on 3rd down and 4. They give it to Flagler. And he runs it close to a first down as he gets inside the 25-yard line. Interesting play. That was like student body left there, wasn't it? Now the crowd booing because of a bad spot.
Yeah, Jim Tunney wants the chains. He wants to look this one over.
Rosenbach telling you right there that it's just a couple of inches. Joe Bugle, he's been the type of coach this year to say, hey, let's go for it 4th down. Remember the game against Green Bay?
Yeah, a lot of controversy.
They were trying to run the clock out in that game, and on 4th down and 1, they had a couple of people move on a play. They didn't get the first down. The Packers then took the ball over and went in for the win. Let's see what they do on 4th and inches here.
Much different situation here. Early in the ball game, you can make an argument for putting some points on the board, but Bugle says, hey, I have a lot of confidence in my guys up front, and in 4th down and less than 1, I want to go for it. You know, he kept saying, I wouldn't change my mind on that Green Bay decision. That came with about 2.5 minutes left to play. He would have made a much longer field for the Packers to have to go down and score. He stuck with his decision. Hey, he's a gutsy guy, but he's also a guy who's been through it so much. He's willing to make those tough decisions and stand by it.
Well, I don't know. 5 for 11. You're not hitting even 50% there. 4th down and inches. Rosenbach with a flag down as he leaned on the pack to the right side, and at least for right now, he has the first down.
Earlier in the ball game, the Colts went for it on 4th and inches and threw a play-action pass for a touchdown. Rosenbach, of course, doing a good job signaling that the penalty is against the Colts.
Offside defense, number 94, lined up in the neutral zone, 5 yards, first down.
Penalty is on Jeff Faulkner as the Colts try to get in as close as they could to stuff that play. There you see some of the friends and relatives here at Sun Devil Stadium today. The Cardinals not winning at 3-8, having a tough time putting folks in the stands here. They had just over 30,000 last week. They were hoping for 35 here today, and the Cardinals moving the ball, get that first down as they take the penalty.
They got a big-time drive going.
That's the H-back, Jordan, coming down the line of motion. Thompson wrestled down from behind as the Colts rip him down. The tackle made on the play by Sam Clancy.
Yeah, we talked to the nose guard, Siragusa, about this play last night. There's a little pitter-patter guy in motion. There's Siragusa, number 98 for the Colts, in the middle of the screen. He knows that tight end's that H-back's going to come down and block on him. He does a great job of standing in there, slowing down the ball carrier. Siragusa says, I'm a scavenger. Well, I'm a scavenger down there. I'm just looking for anything to grab onto to create some kind of trouble to make the guys behind me look good when they make the tackle.
Second down and 8. Thompson only got 2 on first down. That's Pearl in motion as Rosenbach rolls out. Pearl gets hit, but holds on to the ball down at the 12-yard line. The hit is made by Keith Taylor. Ricky Pearl, what a story out of Wake Forest. As he told us a story yesterday. He went to the scouting combine, and all the big names are there from the big schools, and he's coming out of Wake Forest, and he said it was the most nerve-wracking day of his life, just waiting to run his 40-yard dash and get time.
I think he got a lot of confidence from that experience, too, because he said he was nervous for that, but once he got to camp, realized he was a third-round draft pick, belonged in the NFL, he said he hasn't been all that nervous the whole time.
Big play again, 3rd down and 4. Remember, they ran it to Flagler on the last time on 3rd and 4.
They like the quarterback draw down here, too.
And they run it to Flagler again. He's going to have trouble here as he is ripped down by Eugene Daniel. And then a host of other Colts come over to help out, but that guy, Eugene Daniel, made the play. He snipped it out as they went right back to Flagler, maybe once too often there, and they'll have to go for the field goal now.
Yeah, Flagler joined them in September from Dallas after the Cowboys released him.
There you see our Xerox 10-minute ticker. Bob Costa told you about the Bears winning overtime. Now the games that are underway along with us, all in the second quarter. San Diego leading over the Jets, 14-10. And here, Al Del Greco will try and get the Cardinals on the board. They trail 10-0. A 32-yard field goal attempt with backup quarterback Tom Tupa holding. Phoenix on the board. We'll be right back. The Colts lead by 7.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks. Mazda, it just feels right. By Budweiser, the king of beers. With that clean, crisp, cold taste, nothing beats a Bud. By Nike, who reminds you to just do it. And by Castrol GTX, engineered for today's smaller cars.
And we welcome you back. Jim Donovan and Jim Laslavic here at Sun Devil Stadium. Indianapolis raced off to a 10-0 lead, but the Cardinals just put together a nice drive, went down the field, settled for a 32-yard field goal by Al Del Greco, and are on the board at 10-3. Here's Clarence Burgan from his 15. Spins out of a couple of tackles and goes out to the 29-yard line, and that's where they will begin. Lorenzo Lynch is in on the tackle for the Cardinals, a 10-yard return. A reminder, at the end of today's broadcast, McDonald's and NBC will be announcing the Ronald McDonald Children's Charities Player of the Game. So stay tuned for that. 1st and 10 now for the Colts. Jeff George back in there at quarterback. He was taken out for about 3 or 4 plays on the Colts last series after getting knocked out of the game on a hit by Freddie Joe Nunn. Mark Herman came in while George got his head together, and he's back in there. And throwing and completing it to Bill Brooks at the 46-yard line. And boy, is he clotheslined there by the free safety, Lonnie Young. What a hit by Lonnie Young.
You got to take advantage of those opportunities as a defensive player along the sidelines. Having the sidelines there is like having another defensive player to help you, because there's no place else the receiver can go than to turn back into you. Nice pass by George. So he's fine. He took the big hit. Nice hit right there. Is really, as a defensive player, use that sideline. You know the guy's either going to cut back to you or head that way, so just go get him.
Boy, George laid that ball in there beautifully. 16 yards and a first down. 4 wide receivers in there now for George. Got a man wide open, and Brooks again. To the 45-yard line, and he is brought down by Lonnie Young and Cedric Mack. Are you impressed with George?
Very much so. He's passing the ball better now that he's had his bell rung a little bit and lost his breath on that big hit by Freddie Joe Nunn. He's come back in. Think back to that first drive, and he was throwing the ball high.
How about some of the comments by Ron Meyer last night? He said, you know what? Of all the quarterbacks right now in the NFL, when they were rookies, I'll take this guy, Jeff George. He said, hey, this guy just didn't fall off a truckload of turnips. He can really throw the football. 2nd down and 2. Dickerson puts his head down and should have a first down at the 42-yard line.
Yeah, you know, George is coming into a situation where he was met with criticism by his teammates because a couple of their friends were traded away, Hinton and Risen, and that's his hometown, Indianapolis. He was criticized by some of the folks there who thought the Colts were, throwing in the towel, rebuilding with a young guy, and he has come on and just done a very good, very solid job.
So it's a first down at the 42-yard line on Dickerson's run. 4 wide receivers set again with Albert Bentley, the lone running back. We have 4:07 left here in the first half. 10-3 Indianapolis. Little counter play there. And Bentley slips inside and is still going down to the 39-yard line.
Don't you love Bentley? The way he just keeps fighting, keeps working. It's just like his career. The guy was a walk-on at the University of Miami, played in that great national championship game down there against Nebraska. He scored the touchdown that eventually was the game-winning touchdown in that wonderful 31-30 game against Nebraska. Started his career in the USFL, came to the Colts, was a role player, and then worked his way into the starting lineup. Then Dickerson comes. He's back to being a role player, but the guy has a great amount of heart, huge amount of ability, and he just keeps on working and working.
4-yard gain, 2nd and 6. Jesse Hester roaming in motion. George is going long for Verdun. Oh, what a catch, but he didn't hang on. What a try by Verdun, juggling it as it went out of bounds.
And what a job by George, almost putting that ball right on the money. As you see, what a feeling that is to be scraping that mud and that sandy base off this face mask. But George, hey, here's why they loved him so much.
Well,
yeah, I think a very good call. Very good call by the official. No control on the ball as Verdun has mud on his face, too.
He's going to his nearest true value right now to go over and get some paint remover. Get it off his face. Verdun, I think he's yelling out to the official, I had control of the football, but they say no.
No, you didn't.
All right, I think they're going to take a look at this play once again as Ron Meyer will now hope for the fate of instant replay and see if they turn this call around.
As you can see, Verdun did a good job getting open, and there's the ball right there. Does he have control? No. The ball hits the ground, and then he slides out of bounds right there. So I think the call on the field will stand.
Bill Fetty is the replay official here today as he takes a look at it.
Assisted by Rick Smith, the silver-haired man to our left.
He's our communicator. Jeff George, there you see that helmet kind of laid up on his chin there a little bit. That's a familiar pose for him. As he is he's just very laid back, isn't he, Jim? I mean, most rookies are really uptight, but this kid isn't, as Verdun hopes now.
Completed pass, it'll be 3rd down.
And no hope at all on the play, as they say, incompleted pass.
I was interested in meeting him and talking to him face-to-face, because I've heard from some personnel people that he's timid. I think he's timid. I think he has that quiet confidence about him, and he's just a quiet person, and that's the way he goes about his business.
Let's see what he does right now. 3rd and 6 with 4 wide receivers. They did a nice job of picking up the blitz, but he delivers the ball a bit low, and it's incomplete. Pass intended for Jesse Hester. It would have been a heck of a catch down by his ankles, and even if he pulled it down, I don't think he had first down yardage.
Yeah, some good pressure on that play as the Colts offensive line for the first time had a breakdown, and George was rolling out anyway, but had to sprint a little bit faster than I think he originally intended.
Ron Stark's second punt of the day. Now he's very good at pinning you inside your 20. He can really put it inside and put you in bad field position. He's put 17 out inside the 20 so far this season. A little bit of a bad snap. Puts it straight up in the air. And let's see, they touch it down. That's Anthony Johnson, the rookie, touching it down maybe a little bit over the 20. 18-yard punt by Stark. He tried to finesse it a bit too much. We'll be right back. Indianapolis leading 10-3 with 2:58 to go in the half. Now around the league today on Sunday number 13, Denver leading, and Houston by a field goal up in the Kingdom over Seattle. And those are the other games that are going on along with our game as you watch the Cardinals come out 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line, trailing by a touchdown. Rosenbach for Ernie Jones. the 38-yard line, a 42-yard pass play, and a good play for Ernie Jones.
Yeah, I'd say that Rosenbach is back into the ball game here. You know, this guy was in the hospital Friday night. Here he is, throwing the ball perfectly to Ernie Jones. And, you know, Ernie Jones was telling us that he throws a very catchable football, and then Jones makes the most of it afterwards. Good speed.
All right, so the Cardinals very much back in the game now on that big first down pass play. They're down by a touchdown. Rosenbach. This is Cole. Rosenbach says we want a timeout with 2:22 remaining here in the first half. He calls for the timeout. Joe Bugle will talk with his quarterback as they are on the move trying to tie the game up. We have 2:19 remaining here in the first half. And we'll be back to see what the Cardinals do as Indianapolis hanging on to a 10-3 lead over the Phoenix Cardinals right now. Here's your situation. 2:19 remaining here in the first half. Indianapolis jumped out 10-0. But Ron Meyer's defense now will have to hold off the Cardinals, who are right back in it. They called for the timeout. Phoenix did. They have 2 remaining, and we're coming up on the 2-minute warning with 2:19 left. So in effect, they really have 3 left. Trying to tie the game up. A blitz, but he got it away, and the ball is caught at the 22-yard line. That's Ernie Jones again. He's been the big man on the drive.
Yeah, Rosenbach doing a good job getting the ball out there as we're approaching the 2-minute warning.
And we are there right now. 2 minutes left to go here in the first half. Indianapolis leading 10-3, looking for their 4th win in a row. 10-3, Colts lead. 2 minutes to go, first half. Timm Rosenbach has moved the Cardinals 58 yards on 3 plays. Using only 58 seconds, all 3 have been pass plays. And they're at the Indianapolis 22, second down 5. Incomplete. Contact right when the ball got there. Chip Banks was right on the back of Terrence Flagler.
Yeah, great coverage by Banks. Now, Banks is a very, very gifted football player. As you watch him here at number 51, ground level shot. He's going back into coverage, reading the quarterback's eyes, and gets there about the same time the ball does. Looks like a good non-call to me.
Chip Banks, the Sun Devil Stadium gathering, thinks that he got away with one right there. And it is 3rd down and 5 now from the Colts 22-yard line.
Yeah, ties loose.
Ernie Jones in motion. A blitz up the middle. Rosenbach has to get rid of it quickly. Incomplete. Roy Green with a trap catch down at the 8-yard line.
Yeah, they're on to something here because the pressure is causing Rosenbach some trouble. You can see Green out there running the out pattern and the ball thrown low and no catch. It was thrown that way because of pressure from Jeff Herrod up the middle, and Rosenbach limping as he leaves the field. Remember the knee problem that put him in the hospital? The bursa sac burst on him in his knee.
Al Del Greco, 1 for 1 on the day. Out of the hold of Tommy Tupa, 39-yard field goal attempt. He hit from 32 earlier. With 1:51 to go in the half. And the Cardinals cut into the Indianapolis Colts lead just a little bit more now with 1:46 left as the bombs are bursting here at Sun Devil Stadium. 10-6 our score now, Indianapolis in the lead. Coming up at halftime, we go back to Bob, O.J., and Will in New York. NFL Live, as they'll give you all the scores and highlights from around what looks to be a very exciting Sunday number 13 as you really start playing the old math games right now. Who's going to make the playoffs? Who are not going to make the playoffs? All right, our NFL Live headlines. Bill Walsh thinks the Raiders would be better with Berline at quarterback rather than Schrader. The in-the-grass rule, Will McDonough says it could be out after next year. And Carl Banks, according to Bill Parcells, he'll play in that big battle in the Monday night game against the 49ers. All right, there is Timm Rosenbach, who left the field limping after he got hit on that blitz by Jeff Harrod.
He did a nice job moving him down there. You know, he's really not much more than a rookie. Played in 2 games last year, started one of them.
Del Greco sends it on its way, and Verdun will take it at his 12. And he gets hit over the 30-yard line as Michael Zordich is in on the tackle for the Cardinals, and Jeff George, with 2 timeouts, will bring the Colts offense back out onto the field and try and get a little bit more as they jump down to a 10-0 lead. And all of a sudden, it's 10-6 right now. Kick off your night on NBC with super bloopers and new practical jokes featuring the cast of Dear John and Quantum Leap, followed by the critically acclaimed series Life Stories. Then James Garner and Judith Ivey star in a Hallmark Hall of Fame presentation, Decoration Day, an NBC world premiere movie tonight, right here on NBC.
Movie got great reviews, 4 stars from TV Guide.
Minute 41 left here in the first half. Shotgun run. Dickerson. Joe Nunn brings him down for a short gain out over the 31-yard line. Freddie Joe was helped out on the play by Cedric Mack.
You know, it's not surprising for a team in this situation to try to run the ball on first down. Try to sneak a running play in there, pick up some yards, and now there's a stoppage of play.
Indianapolis will use a timeout, and we'll be back to Sun Devil Stadium right after this timeout. With a minute 22 remaining in the first half, let me correct myself there. That was a Phoenix-called timeout. As the Cardinals, why would they call a timeout?
They're hoping to get the ball back and pin the Colts down in this territory, force them to punt, maybe take a shot at the punter.
It's 2nd down and 8. Indianapolis going to run it again with Dickerson. There's a flag down at the 32-yard line as Dickerson brings it out to the 36. And that will stop the clock with a minute 16 left.
Boy, if this game were at the Hoosier Dome, you'd be able to hear the fans booing for the play calling at this point. And the field position isn't all that bad. I'm surprised they didn't let Jeff George put it up and try to go for something here.
Well, now they'll be pinned back even deeper on the holding call.
And that stops the clock, so the Cardinals' strategy may work.
68 offense, 10 yards and still 2nd down.
Pat Tomberlin, the right guard, in there for Kevin Call, who's out with that shoulder injury, is hit with the holding call. So the 10-yard penalty marches them back to their own 22-yard line. And it becomes 2nd down and 18 with a minute 16 left, and the Colts are holding on to 2 timeouts. They lead 10-6. Screen pass for Bentley. They sniffed it out, but he breaks the tackle. He broke out of a tackle by Lonnie Young. Young had him for no gain, but instead he broke out of that tackle and got some yardage out to the 28-yard line. 1:07 remaining here in the first half. A timeout called on the field, and we'll be right back. After the timeout, we have a minute 7 left. Indianapolis leading 10-6. This has been a real wacky series. First, Phoenix calls a timeout. Then all of a sudden we get a penalty on Indianapolis. Then they throw the ball. Now another timeout call. Kind of strange, isn't it?
Another timeout called by Phoenix. Their plan is to force the punt, maybe put some pressure on the punter, or maybe they could set up a return. But they want to get the ball back. Obviously, again, this is part of Joe Bugle's aggressive thinking when it comes to playing the ball game.
But I'm surprised Indianapolis then threw the ball after that holding call.
Well, they had a 2nd and 18. Not much choice.
Shotgun with a minute 7 left in the first half on 3rd down 14. There's the sack for Harvey.
Could not have been better for the Cardinals because the Colts were trying to play it conservative. They had trouble with the holding penalty, and then Harvey comes up with a sack. And so you see George dropping back. Harvey's rushing from the right side of the screen there, and it's sort of a bull rush, and he gets rid of his man and throws down the quarterback.
He just got an arm on him as he got around Zephros Moss, the huge left tackle for the Colts. Now the Colts letting time run down all the way, the clock running. We have 34 seconds remaining in the first half. Ron Stark letting it run down as far as he can. breaks it up to the 49-yard line with 17 seconds left here in the half. All right, now, right at the top of the show, we told you the playoff picture. If the season were to end today, and if the playoffs started, those would be your division winners: Miami, Houston, Kansas City. Then the wild card, Buffalo, the Raiders, and Cincinnati, with the contenders and the Colts right there at 5 and 6, pending what happens today. So now next week, when we go to Sunday 14, NFL Live at 12:30, Buffalo and Indianapolis from the Hoosier Dome, Seattle and Green Bay, and yes, they're all very much in the hunt. All next week here on NBC. Now the Cardinals down by 4. Rosenbach in trouble, and sails one into the bench as the rush was put on him hard on the play by Michael Ball.
Yeah, Rosenbach did a good job there making something happen there. Instead of taking the sack, as he looks fine now. He was limping a little bit after the last series, but here he is running around, avoiding people, and slinging it in the direction of the receiver to avoid that sack. Save some yards. Stops the clock.
11 seconds now remaining in the first half.
You know, great presence for a young quarterback. Impressive first half, really, for both guys. They've missed on some passes, but they've been good when they've been good.
They blitz again, and they get him this time. Sam Clancy will come up with the sack, and that's his 6th and a half of the season.
So the clock will stop until they spot the ball, and I think we've seen the end of play here in the first half.
Lost back to the 40-yard line, and it looks like the clock will run down right now. They started up, and that's the end of the first half. Well, the Cardinals did give it a go to try and get in there and get some late points, but Joe Bugle will get a chance to put it back together in the locker room. Ron Meyer and his Colts lead by 4 at the end of the first half here from Tempe. Joe Bugle, 3-8 in his first season, an infectious guy. I found him totally infectious yesterday with enthusiasm, talking about what a wonderful time he's having as head coach of the Cardinals.
Yeah, Joe and I were together in the mid-'70s in Detroit, his first professional coaching job, and he had that enthusiasm back then, and he hasn't lost it in the 15, 16 years since then.
Cardinals will get the ball as we start the second half. Dean Biasucci ready to move into it. The Colts at 5 and 6. They've won 3 in a row. Sikahema goes back in his end zone, and then Flagler makes the catch 3 yards deep, and he'll put it down for a touchback, and it will be 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Let's take a look at what the Cardinals have done so far in this ball game when they have had the ball.
Yeah, the Cardinals have, put together some drives, but they have not led to touchdowns. Again, that may be because of the young quarterback, but they got off to a very slow start with a punt, the fumble, another punt, and then the couple drives that led to points, and then really nothing before the half.
Phoenix with a bad injury in the first half for them. Rookie running back Johnny Johnson re-injured an ankle. He left, and their top draft choice, and here he comes. Anthony Thompson has been in there ever since. He runs it out to the 23-yard line where Siragusa and John Hand wrap him up. And also in there on the play, Matt Vanderbeek. There's Sam Clancy, rather, not John Hand.
Hand is one of the injured players for the Colts, did not make the trip. Clancy, big guy out of Pittsburgh.
Used to be a college basketball player at Pitt.
A very good one. He, as a matter of fact, was drafted by Phoenix, wasn't he?
Yes, he was, and then got out of basketball, went into football. Been a plan B pickup here for the Colts. 2nd down now. Rosenbach overthrows his man down at the 39-yard line as he was high on the pass once again. Ernie Jones was the intended receiver, and it will be 3rd down at 7.
Yeah, that's a pretty dangerous pass for Ernie Jones to go after. Very high with a safety in the space, a cornerback behind him, and even just too high for him to even make an attempt.
3rd down and 7. Johnny Johnson is done for the day, we understand, from the Cardinal bench, as he has re-injured his ankle. And so they'll have to go with Anthony Thompson as their running back for the rest of the afternoon, although right now Flagler is in there in a passing situation. 3rd and 7. Incomplete. Intended for Ricky Prohl out of the 30-yard line. Cornell Holloway is over on the coverage for the Colts. And Indianapolis' defense gets the job done as Phoenix goes 3 and out.
Yeah, Rosenbach's first half stats, 5 of 12 passing for 67 yards. He's off to a very slow start. The thing about Johnson not playing, it might hurt that kid in the pocketbook. He has a lot of incentives. 7th-round draft pick, didn't get a great contract. He had to sit out last week because of the ankle, and now early in this ball game he was hurt, and so that eliminates maybe some opportunities for him to rack up some yards, rack up some incentives in that contract.
Rich Camarillo into punt. This is Verdun at the 27. And he is pushed out into the Cardinal bench at the 41-yard line, tackled by John Jackson. 50-yard punt and a 13-yard return by Verdun.
You know, let's take a look at Jeff George here as he walks onto the field and how he stacks up compared to some other franchise quarterbacks, if you will, guys who were taken #1 in the draft. Elway, of course, who was with the Colts, I guess, on paper, and that was it right there. But look at the start that George is having. His numbers stack up very well in comparison to Testaverde, Eggman, and Elway.
He's got his Colts in a 10-6 lead right now. They're at their own 40-yard line, 1st and 10, as we start the second half. And he'll start it throwing. And he'll throw it away. He was trying to get Jesse Hester to break his pattern off and change it, but instead he throws it out of bounds. And Jay Taylor, the cornerback, was the nearest guy in the vicinity of the football.
Now, George is out there trying to direct traffic. He had some time to throw, so credit the offensive line right there. But the coverage by the Cardinals was very good. So he's telling his receiver, hey, go downfield. Take off downfield and I'll get the ball to you. But there was nothing there either.
2nd down and 10. 2 wide receivers in the game right now as the Colts feature 2 backs in the backfield, Bentley and Dickerson. And they jump. That cadence by George pulls off the nose tackle, Waller, and he comes across the line of scrimmage and makes contact there.
Oh, nice weapon.
Defense, 5 yards, still 2nd down.
So Waller was the nose tackle that came across the line of scrimmage. In talking with Joe Bugle yesterday, Jim, he really wants to add some beef up front. And I think maybe if he does that again, they'll go back to a 4-3 defense. But right now, as you can see, they really have not had great defensive front linemen.
Yeah, no Pro Bowlers in 68. Of course, some beef will arrive next week. Dexter Manley will be activated.
They almost jump off again on 2nd and 5. Here's Dickerson. And he'll be short of the 1st down as he goes out to the 48-yard line. And on the tackle was Lonnie Young and Tim McDonald.
So they make up for that lack of size with a lot of activity. They got a lot of people out there running and hustling to the football. And that's one thing some of the Cardinals told us yesterday, is that they get in shape in practice because Joe Bugle demands that they run back and forth, play after play. And it's not so much that they do a lot of running afterwards, but they do a lot of running in practice, hustling back to the huddle, hustling to the ball, and it carries over to the field. Dexter Manley, in case you're wondering, of course he was picked up by the Cardinals. He cannot be activated until next week.
3rd down and 4. Jesse Hester runs in motion. It's Bentley. Short of the 1st down.
Whoa! Not a very popular call, I'm sure, with the Colts fans who are wondering why at this point in the ball game you wouldn't let Jeff George go back and throw the ball for a 1st down. 3rd and 4, they ran Bentley, and they've gone conservative, haven't they?
Oh, they really have.
Now, this is a team that went for it 4th and inches and did the play-action pass.
And yeah, right, threw the ball on 4th down and inches and scored a touchdown. They have put creativity in a file right now, and they're holding it until later on in the game. Here's Stark punting. Sikahema lets it hit at the 5, and it goes into the end zone. And it's a touchback, and the Cardinals will get the ball at their own 20. It's a 52-yard punt for Stark. Indianapolis maintains a 4-point lead. Welcome back to Sun Devil Stadium, everybody. I'm Jim Donovan, along with Jim Laslavic, Jeff George on the sideline. Larry Kennan, the offensive coordinator, with him as the Colts lead 10-6, but they led 10-0 and have been stuck at 10 since early in the 1st quarter.
I wonder if George is completely well. You know, he got banged in the head that 1st half.
Rosenbach on the Cardinals now from their own 20. Looking long for Roy Green. Incomplete at the 35-yard line. Eugene Daniel was over there on the coverage for the Colts.
Yeah, Rosenbach is not off to a great start in the second half here, as the Cardinals will like to throw the ball on first down to try to catch the defensive unit off guard. You see great coverage right here. The ball, yeah, it was there, but terrific coverage by Daniel.
Rosenbach is 0 for his last 6 throwing the ball. And look at that. That's what he has on the day. Not very good. Not very good at all. 2 rushing touchdowns for him last week, and really his highlight play of the day has been a run by himself. Here's Anthony Thompson. Short gain to the 22. Siragusa, the nose tackle, along with Vanderbeek there.
Yeah, and Chip Banks in on that tackle. Some enthusiasm from Banks as he's getting into this ball game. That's important for Chip.
Thompson coming out as it will be 3rd down and 8. Now let's check the Hertz 10-minute ticker. The Raiders back on top. Seattle is in front in the 3rd quarter. San Diego leading by 7 in New Orleans, with Steve Walsh going back to Dallas and leading in the 3rd quarter. And here at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, it is 10-6. Indianapolis leading over the Phoenix Cardinals. 3rd down and 8 for the Cardinals at their own 22. Here comes Harrod on a blitz again. The ball caught by Roy Green, but let's see where the spot is. I think he's short of the first down by about a half a yard.
Again, good pressure by the Colts as they're onto something with the defensive line play and the blitzes they had with Harrod coming. And actually it was Faulkner, number 94, who gets in there, beats his block, and puts a lot of pressure on Rosenbach, so he has no choice but to take Green, who was short for the first down. Interesting there is, as the ball was stolen from Green, but the officials ruled that he was down before the ball was taken away.
That was Cornell Holloway who took it away as the punt is nailed by Camarino, and a great punt. Here's Verdun. Nice coverage. John Jackson and Ken Harvey down covering on the Verdun return. We'll be right back. The Colts by 4. Trying to cheer up a storm here in Sun Devil Stadium this afternoon for the Cardinals, who trail Indianapolis 10-6. As we have played 4.5 minutes here in the 3rd quarter, Indianapolis at their 22-yard line. At the 22-yard line, their own 22. That's where they start.
And think back to the 2nd quarter in this field position. They got very conservative. They come out now, though, with 4 wide receivers.
This is Verdun, and he goes out at the 26-yard line. A quick strike right there. Lorenzo Lynch and Marcus Turner over there.
And the official has to come in and separate some players. Verdun hit, driven out of bounds. He didn't like that. He's still talking. Well, of course, he talks all the time. His nickname is CNN because he goes at it 24 hours. Very popular player, lots of personality there. Here's the hit.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
Absolutely.
That's Michael Zordich, 38, who came in and hit Verdun when he was clearly out of bounds. What do you think about that?
And Zordich started talking to him first.
Don't you think there should have been a flag thrown there?
Absolutely.
At the 26-yard line, 2nd down, 6 as they pick up 4. Bill Brooks goes in motion. Oh, they pick up a blitz, and George spotted it perfectly, and off and running on the play is Jesse Hester. What a great play by George. They picked up an all-out Cardinal blitz. 46 yards.
And watch the running back right here. It's Bentley as he picks up Zordich, who was blitzing, and that was the key to making this play work. Now watch him with the football here. Good speed.
So he becomes the hot receiver right on a play like that, and Hester recognized the blitz himself. And last year at this time, Jesse Hester was watching other guys. He wasn't so hot. He was watching everybody else in the NFL.
Yeah, he was miserable, and he was borderline depressive, probably.
Ball is at the 28-yard line, so the Colts' first big play in a long time. 1st and 10. George on the money again. He is right there to Bill Brooks, and Brooks has the catch down at the 17-yard line of the Cardinals, where Jay Taylor covers up on him.
Shades of the first half, where the Colts came out and moved the ball quite well in their 2nd, 3rd series. And they've opened things up here, allowed George to throw the ball downfield, and he's coming through. He's making the reads. He's getting the protection, too. And I think the Colts felt that they could pass protect against the Cardinals.
Albert Bentley, the lone back. It's a 1st down again at the 17 of Phoenix. Here comes Bentley. And he gets it down to the 12-yard line where he's tackled by Rod Sadler. Now let's go to New York. Bob Costas with this NFL Live update.
All right, Jim, the Raiders reclaim the lead at Mile High Stadium. Bo Jackson, an 11-yard run, breaking tackles, tumbling into the end zone. He scored 2 TDs his first game back to the NFL after the baseball season. That was Week 7 at San Diego. This is the first time he's been in the end zone since then. Raiders 14, Broncos 10.
Thanks, Bob. 10-6 here. Indianapolis in the lead, but threatening from the 12-yard line of Phoenix. Second down, 6. George is going to run it himself until he is sacked. Freddie Joe Nunn.
Yeah, this time Freddie Joe didn't jump off sides. That was the case in the first half when he got in there on Jeff George. Good pressure. Take a look as George drops back to pass, and Freddie Joe Nunn's working hard on the left-hand side of the screen. Number 78 throws aside the blocker and then throws down the quarterback.
7.5 sacks in the season now for Freddie Joe Nunn as he drops him back to the 15-yard line.
Now take a look at the Cardinals defense, the trouble it's had inside the 20-yard line. This includes today's game.
Third down and 9. Shotgun for George. Bentley's in the backfield with him. 4 wide receivers. He's got a man, and that's Bill Brooks down at the 6-yard line. And close to a first down. Lorenzo Lynch was over there saying that they don't have the first down. That's what he's telling his defensive sideline. They don't have the first down. As a matter of fact, he's going to make the spot for the officials. Put it right there, guys.
Get a striped shirt. Good job by Jay Taylor on the tackle. If they don't have the first down, it's because of his efforts.
Well, they're right there to make a measurement, so we'll see if he does have it. And yes, they do. First and goal for the Colts.
Yeah, once again, the Colts offensive line gave Jeff George time to throw. They picked up the blitz. George read the man coverage, found the guy he wanted to, and went to him.
6-yard line, first and goal. Indianapolis has not scored since the first quarter. They jumped out 10-0, and now Ron Meyer sitting on a 10-6 lead, knowing that they're right in that wild card picture. But a win here today even gets them thicker into it.
Yeah, you know, not too many of the Colts were talking playoffs. You know, we talked to them yesterday. They're more interested in winning a game with Phoenix, getting back to the 500 mark.
I'm sure they're thinking playoffs, though, the way they're playing. First and goal at the Phoenix 6. George Hester, touchdown if he hung on. Yes, he did.
And that time he beat Jay Taylor on the play. You know, and Hester's, you know, he has the size advantage, and he's a very quick guy, very fast guy. Here he is, and that's the Cardinal mistake by the Cardinal. You can't let the guy inside like that on that kind of play. That's probably what he's preached at all week long. A play like that, make the receiver, bump him outside.
So Jesse Hester catches his 5th touchdown pass of the season, the 2nd of the day, thrown by Jeff George. So on the year now, he has 10 touchdown passes, and the Indianapolis Colts get on the board first here in the second half. And Biasucci's kick is good. Jesse Hester's brother, who got him back into the game by showing a highlight film of his great catches, can add one more to the highlight film as Hester makes that grab right there. Jesse Hester caught the 6-yard touchdown pass from Jeff George, and the Indianapolis Colts lead 17-6. Biasucci kicks it away. Into the end zone again, but Sikahema is going to come out with it. And he gets it out to the 20 to 21-yard line where it will be first down. Now it's time for the Hertz 10-minute ticker as we go around the league. Cincinnati wins this afternoon. The Buffalo Bills win, and Washington blows out Miami, so Buffalo leads in the AFC East. The Bears in overtime, and Kansas City blows out New England. Cleveland loses their 7th in a row. Tampa Bay's a winner over Houston. And the game's going on right now. San Diego's up their lead over the Jets, and we're 17-6 here in Tempe. The Cardinals must get back into the game as Walter Reeves, the tight end, makes his first catch of the day. And Reeves goes out to the 37-yard line on a first down.
Remember, Reeves left the game early in the first quarter because of a thumb injury. Went in for x-rays and came back. You see his stats for the year. 9 catches for 57 yards, which might explain why the Colts gave him so much room on that play. It was either a broken coverage or they're just not even expecting Reeves to make any catches at all.
Well, he was a forgotten man, and it translated into a 16-yard pass play for Rosenbach, who had missed 6 passes in a row up until that completion.
And he did a good job there finding the open receiver.
First down for the Cardinals. Anthony Thompson out over the 40 to the 42. Well, Ty Detmer won the Heisman yesterday over the Rocket. Last year, Anthony Thompson was the runner-up in the Heisman to Andre Ware.
And his offensive coordinator is Jerry Rome, who was the runner-up in the Heisman race back in 1964 at Tulsa.
So as we go back to the state of Indiana today, and all the Colts fans looking in, they can see the progress of a guy they cheered for, the Indiana Hoosier, Anthony Thompson. 2nd and 5 as he got 5 on first down. They go back to Thompson. Good run, loose ball on the ground. They say he was down.
Good job of mixing up the plays. Last time they went wide with Thompson, and this time against the 3-4 of the Colts, they tried to pound away at the middle. Maybe give the impression they were going wide again, and then Thompson cuts it back right there, picks up the nice block by Louis Sharp right there, and then keeps traveling along.
He picked up 12 yards, and Anthony Thompson, who really ran them to a victory last week over New England. And there you see it, 136 yards rushing last week. In the first 10 games, he really wasn't in the lineup, not seeing much playing time. Rosenbach keeps it and runs it and slides close to a first down at the Indianapolis 36-yard line. He slid right into that man, Jeff Harrod.
Yeah, this is another case where Harrod, he's going to take his shots any chance he gets. I'll tell you what, he has the heart of a Hall of Famer. Shades of Willie Lanier, in my opinion. This kid is a good, solid tackler. He knows the field. He understands the game. He loves to play, loves to hit.
Close enough for a measurement, I think, on the run by Rosenbach.
You got to love the play calling. This is a nice sequence being put together by Jerry Rome, the offensive coordinator. They went wide on a run, came back with a cutback play. Then they showed that counter gap play that they've been using so much. They pulled the offside guard, the offside tackle, as they got the first down on the scramble by Rosenbach. But instead of handing the ball off, he faked it, did a bootleg, and had a blocker out in front of him. When he didn't find that open receiver, Rosenbach ran for the first down. Only Randall Cunningham has gained more yards, quarterbacks, in the NFL this season, as Rosenbach 56 rushes for 360 yards. Of course, last week, the 2 touchdowns.
So he really is a weapon when he starts running the football. Now, 1st and 10 at the Colts 36-yard line. Thompson. That flag goes down late as they team tackled on Anthony Thompson, so we'll check the call out from referee Jim Tunney.
Jeff Faulkner over there in on the tackle. Plenty of help. Lots of pointing going on out there.
All right, let's see what happened on the play. Oh, it's against the Cardinals. And that will march them back.
Oh, boy. They got something going here. And on a first down play, the hold.
Holding, 67, 10 yards, still first down.
Louis Sharp, the left tackle, is hit with the penalty. Sharp, a great offensive lineman, but boy, that play came in very late, didn't it? I mean, it looked as though the play was over. You almost thought there might have been a face mask or maybe somebody was piling on Thompson, but the late flag and the hold on Sharp. So now they're back at the 46 of Indianapolis, and it's first down and 20. They trail 17-6, third quarter. Rosenbach, he's got Kroll down to the 30-yard line.
That's the best way to come back after a holding penalty. You see Kroll right there, the rookie out of Wake Forest, 3rd-round draft pick. Watch how much room they give him on this play. They really respect his speed. He runs about a 4.5, and Kroll cuts off the pattern right there, and Rosenbach rips that pass out to him, and he makes the catch.
So the ball goes down to the 30-yard line, and it becomes 2nd down and 5 as Kroll ended up with a 15-yard catch. And he's complete again. Nice job on the sidelines by Ernie Jones.
And nice job by Rosenbach. Rolling to his right. And this is a tough pass for a quarterback. Watch the low angle here. You see Chip Banks, number 51. He drops off into coverage. Here comes Rosenbach. The whole time, he knows who he's going to. So he looks up, looks in the other direction, buys some more time, and then gets it out to Ernie Jones, who does a nice job of tippy-tapping his way on the sidelines. This really is a good play by the second-year quarterback.
Jim Tunney making an announcement down on the field, and I think they're going to take a look at the play as to whether or not he had the feet in. Are they going to replay? Let's check the sideline and see if Ernie Jones had both feet in.
Well, the other thing you want to check for is possession. So he makes the catch. There's no doubt about that, is there? Correct. There's no bobble or anything like that. Both feet are on the ground. And he's almost forced out on the play. That's a good catch. Come on, Jim. Good catch. Okay, there you go. Keep this game going. Thank you, Jim.
First down, Ernie Jones. Had a fine week last week against New England. He's had 3 catches today. He has 1 drop. It went right in his hands in the first half and couldn't come up with a catch. First down, Cardinals driving. Thompson. There's a flag down on the far side of the field.
Yeah, we might have had a motion man cut up field too soon.
Thompson carried the ball inside the 15, but that's coming back. Now 2 big penalties against the Cardinals.
Oh,
holding
Bugle.
call, and now this one.
Oh, Joe Bugle. If there were a blackboard there, he'd be smashing it.
87. Still first down.
Yeah, illegal motion. Full cut up field too soon before the ball was snapped. Now, last week, they went in at halftime against New England tied, and Bugle, to fire up his team, smashed a blackboard. Now, he has that emotion about him, and you can see him right there thinking, that miserable ref, how can he call that play?
First down and 15. The ball is back over the 25 at the 26-yard line. Now Prohl's going to go in motion again. Rosenbach looking for incomplete at the 15-yard line. A pretty good strip coming in there to knock the ball away. Keith Taylor got his hand in there. You know, I think Rosenbach was a little bit late with that throw to Prohl because he was wide open. If he lays it out a little bit more, he might be gone. Watch.
Now here's Rosenbach. He sees his receiver cutting across, and you're right, absolutely. Did not put the ball out in front enough of his receiver, and Keith Taylor comes over.
Let's take a look at the Cardinals. Fewest times inside the 20. 25 chances, and they've converted on 17. That's just not getting there a lot. Only New England is worse. Well, really, this entire series has been Rosenbach to Prohl, but we have a penalty, and it's against Indianapolis.
Yeah, it's going to be against Chip Banks for roughing the passer. We're going to have a first down here, so a big break for the Cardinals, who made 2 penalties on this drive. You thought it was stalled with that incomplete pass, and then a stupid play by Banks, who's shaking his head.
Number 51, roughing the passer.
Yeah, the head coach doesn't agree with the call, but watch how late Chip Banks is on this play. The ball is released. There's Chip. Chip, pull off. Oh, well, that's a big-time hit, too. He was trying to do some damage right there.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, they had George got nailed by Freddie Joe Nunn. Is that a little payback right there?
Good possibility. Well, Chip doesn't agree with the call, but Chip. You can't take 2 or 3 steps after the ball's released.
So it's a first down with 2:06 to go third quarter. They are inside that elusive 20-yard line. In fact, they're inside the 15. Thompson. Nowhere to go that time. Alan Grant, the rookie out of Stanford, a defensive back, came up and forced the play back to the inside, and then Thompson ran into Vanderbeek.
Grant getting a lot of playing time. He had a couple rough outings earlier in the season. You saw him playing against Denver.
He was the starting cornerback for them out of Stanford, and he was playing pretty well, although he was getting picked apart a little bit. But then against Denver, John Elway really did a number on him, and Grant was forced out of the lineup, and Chris Good took over. Colts defense inside the 20. There you see it. On 2nd and 10. Here's a blitz from the outside by Timm. Ernie Jones.
Jones. The Colts were coming this time. Watch Pickett, number 50, down on the bottom of the screen. He did a stutter step. That may have cost him. Look how wide open Jones is. Does a good job on the fake right there to get downfield. And watch him. He keeps fighting, picks up a block, and tries to struggle for that end zone. Saying that zone, in the man-to-man coverage, you better stay tighter than that.
All right, they bring in an extra running back now. Ron Wolfley is in the backfield to help out on the blocking for Thompson. There's the H-back, Jordan in motion. First and goal. Thompson leaps. He rolled into the end zone, but they say he was down inside the 1.
Yeah, that's a pretty good call. Wolfley did a good job on the lead block as Thompson went flying up and over. And you can make the call here yourself if you want. We have the ground level camera. And Thompson up and over. He's touched right there. So when he comes down, he is down. And yeah, the ball did not cross the plane. Now watch the block by Wolfley, number 24. This guy loves to hit. Does a good job just cleaning things up there.
He put the block on Sam Clancy, and that ends the third quarter of play. Phoenix trying to get right back into it. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. Arizona, Indianapolis leading 17-6 as we start the fourth quarter, but Joe Bugel and his Phoenix Cardinals have driven down inside the 1-yard line. 10 plays, 78 yards. They are second and goal from inside the 1, trying to knife into the Colt lead. Rosenbach himself, touchdown.
For Rosenbach as the bombs go bursting in air here. They celebrate their touchdowns with fireworks. Watch him get up there. Up and over. Of course, last week after his second touchdown, he tried to spike the ball over the goalpost and didn't quite make it. Had to resort to a finger roll. He got called for a demonstration penalty. So this time, he just spiked the ball and pointed to the crowd and said, hey, I can do it. I can do it. Good drive. He was 4 for 5 passing on that drive for 51 yards.
Al Del Greco for the extra point. Boy, we got ourselves a very tight game now with 14:58 left in regulation time. Rosenbach out to high five with his offensive line, and we'll be right back. 17-13 thanks to Timm Rosenbach's jump over the top from the half-yard line. He went in for the touchdown. Al Del Greco set to kick it away. There's the Cardinals scoring drive, and it really was all Rosenbach. About 98% of it, and the Colts involved in a struggle here in Phoenix. Albert Bentley got loose. Good return out over the 40-yard line. They'll mark him at the 43. Del Greco and Lorenzo Lynch are down there. A 36-yard return. Now, let's check the Xerox 10-minute ticker. Those are the games that are finished right now. Buffalo, with that big win. Miami took it on the button at Washington, and they fall out of that first-place tie in the AFC East. The Bears win in overtime. Kansas City continues to be on a roll. These games going on fourth quarter. Denver down by 1. And here in Phoenix, with 14:46 left, the Colts lead 17-13. Jeff George has thrown 2 touchdown passes. He's got Hester open. And Jesse Hester finds that opening along with George in the Phoenix defense, and they take it down to the 41.
Hey, these guys aren't playing like young quarterbacks. Jeff George on the last drive was 5 for 5 passing for 77 yards. 2 of them to Hester, and it was like Rosenbach standing on the sideline saying, oh yeah, if you can do it, I can do it too. And Rosenbach came back, you see him there, and he was 4 for 5 passing for 51 yards and scored the touchdown on that little dive. So these 2 young guys are playing like vets.
First and 10 now at the Cardinal 41, a 16-yard pass play from George to Hester. Now they give you a little run, and it's a Bentley. There's a loose football. Cardinals say they have it, and they do.
Take a a look at Albert Bentley. He goes up the middle there. He's fighting for more yards, and he just swarmed on by the Cardinals, and the ball is ripped loose. Let's see if we can figure out who made the play on ripping the ball free. As it starts to come out right there, and he's in a swarm of tacklers, and the ball is just punched out. It looks like
Jim Waller, the nose tackle, might have got his arm in there and knocked it away. Michael Zordich was there too. Albert Bentley, a big turnover, and there's the guy that recovered it, Lonnie Young. Now the Cardinals down by 4 with the ball. A huge Colt turnover. Interesting play.
kind call.
Wait, I mean, does that look like a blown play or what? Thompson carries for a big loss back inside the 30. But it looked like misdirection, and I mean total misdirection.
It looked as if they were going to be, Rosenbach would pull that ball back out and just be a play-action pass, but he stuck it in there and Thompson took it. Yeah, I don't think that's what they had in mind.
So you're willing to gamble that that's not the way it was drawn up?
I would say that Jerry Rome's over there scratching his head saying, what went wrong on that play? That's one they'll talk about in the meetings tomorrow.
Now Al Del Greco, that's the kicker. They're checking out his elbow. He really made the tackle on that kickoff return by Bentley. It appears to have injured his elbow. Second down, 15. Down to the 38-yard line of the Colts.
Hey, one of the reasons this works, you see Pro 87 in motion, is because there's no pressure on the quarterback. He beats Keith Taylor right here badly as he's going across the middle, and Taylor's just looking around for help. He's still looking around for help. Run over, try to make the tackle.
What a nice block by Ernie Jones on Mike Pryor down the field to get him about 5 extra yards. The play was good for 33 yards, and look out, here come the Cardinals now at the Colts 38-yard line. First down. Thompson runs it to the 35. Sam Clancy, Siragusa, in on the tackle.
While that play was being run, take a look, if you will, at what the kicker, Al Del Greco, was doing on the sidelines. Here he is. Of course, he's hurting. He is in pain. And they might need this guy as the game goes along. Look at him right there. Hey, he's a football player, though, today.
But now he's up, and he's starting to tee it up and get loose again. So it's second down, 7, a 3-yard gain to the 35-yard line of Indianapolis. Cardinals down by 4, 17-13. 12-18 to go, regulation time. Rosenbach in trouble. That's up for grabs, but no Colt in the vicinity to try and pick it off.
There's my man, Jeff Harrod. He's pressuring the quarterback on that play. Bumped Rosenbach's arm as Thompson could not make the block. There's Rosenbach looking for direction.
Jim, there's really no mystery. Harrod is coming on every pass situation, isn't he?
That's about it.
I mean, he is blitzing on every play, it seems.
Oh, look at him. He has that. I mean, there's a linebacker for you. Forget the size. You know, you add a couple inches to that guy, and he's in Hawaii every year for the Pro Bowl. The guy is a football player.
All right, big third down situation coming up here for the Cardinals. They are 3rd down and 7 when they come up to the line of scrimmage. Here's what they've done today, both teams, on 3rd down conversions. As the head coaches look out, not very good, huh?
Ouch.
2 of 9 on both sides of the ball.
Ouch.
35-yard line, the line of scrimmage. That's Flagler out of the backfield in motion for the Cardinals. Rosenbach keeps it. Flag is down. He's got a first down right now, but we'll check out the flag.
A 17-yard gain for Rosenbach, but there's a penalty against the Cardinals on that play. They had it set up perfectly. The quarterback draw, spread formation. Harrod was out of the middle. He was going to be blitzing from the outside. And, you know, the last touchdown drive, they overcame 2 penalties.
Number 32, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Flagler is hit with a penalty for illegal motion. He was the man that was out of the backfield in motion.
Yeah, but still, it's Rosenbach can run. Now watch here, there's 54 Harrod, so he's out of the middle, and Rosenbach recognizes that. He knows he has a man covered, so you see a lot of guys have their backs turned to him. He makes a couple people miss here before ball catches up to him.
Now, did he just check into that play, do you think, or did he just see that and go?
I think that's an automatic check.
Big penalty. Now it's 3rd down and 12. He's going to roll away from the pressure. And almost intercepted by Keith Taylor.
There's that bump again.
Boy, I'm presuming he was throwing to Roy Green because that's the only red shirt in the vicinity.
Yeah, the thump when the ball hits the defender's hands here. As Rosenbach, that's a difficult pass for a quarterback. And you can see that Taylor had a chance for the interception.
So the Cardinals do not capitalize on the fumble by Albert Bentley, and they must punt. Here's Camarillo. His job now is to give the Colts bad field position and pin them out inside their 20. Fair catch called for by Mike Pryor at the 10-yard line. That's where the Colts will get the ball when we come back. 11:22 left. Jim Donovan along with Jim Laslavic back at Sun Devil Stadium where the Phoenix Cardinals trail the Indianapolis Colts 17-13. Indianapolis starting at their own 10-yard line. Ivy Joe Hunter and Eric Dickerson in the backfield. They fake it to Dickerson. George is looking long for Bill Brooks. Almost intercepted. Cedric Mack almost picked it off for the Cardinals.
Take a look at the route here as Brooks did a good job of turning Mack around, but Mack with the recovery as George was under pressure some, so he had to throw this ball on the move and still got it close to being on the target. Yeah, that was not a flag, by the way, flying by. That was one of the low-flying birds here.
Cedric Mack close on that interception try, but it's 2nd down and 10. Indianapolis going big on 1st down, trying to catch the Cardinals. Napping back in that secondary, and he almost had Bill Brooks. Now they run it to the 13-yard line, and it will be 3rd and long. Let's go to New York right now. Bob Costas has this NFL Live update for us.
All right, Jim, check out this run by Bo Jackson. Earlier, he scored from 11 yards. Here he starts right, cuts back toward the middle, leaves several Broncos splattered on the turf, and 62 yards later, he's in the end zone for his 2nd touchdown of the day. But importantly, the point after was blocked, so it's still a 7-point differential. Raiders 20, Denver 13.
10:53 left, 4th quarter, 17-13, Indianapolis in the lead. And we have an injured Cardinal down on the field.
I believe it's a nose tackle, Jim Waller. He's being attended to right there. Might be a case where he had the wind knocked out of him.
Jim Waller down injured, and they come out to attend to him.
Hey, this is a big drive for the Colts.
Yeah,
and for the Cardinals. You're talking field position right here.
We'll check out Jim Waller, and we'll be right back to Sun Devil Stadium as Johnny Johnson, the fine rookie, with a sore ankle today. Well, the injured player, Jim Waller, appears to be okay. He walked off under his own power. Indianapolis leads 17-13. All right, Colts, 1st half, 2nd half. Rushing, passing. You can see in the 2nd half they're putting the ball up and connecting a lot more. Whereas in the 1st half, they racked up big numbers running the ball. But right now, 3rd down and 6 and deep in their own territory. A very tricky call here. As they're at their own 14. George steps up and he's intercepted. Cedric Mack. Oh, he laterals it. Touchdown.
Terrific play by Mack. The ball was underthrown as Joe Bugle is liking the view from the sidelines right now as Marcus Turner came up with the touchdown. Terrific run by him after he got the lateral from Mack. And Jeff George, you said it, tricky call. In that field position, they could have played it safe, gone to a draw play, and they're going to review to see whether or not Turner's in the end zone. But he thinks so. He has a souvenir. They'll paint that football up, put the date, put the score, win or lose, his touchdown. As they review the play, let's watch again. You can see as Mack is in the coverage underneath and the ball underthrown. I mean, it's a bad place to throw the ball anyway because there's double coverage. Now watch Mack. This is a tricky thing to do. He sees everybody closing in, looks to the left, and yes, indeed, he finds Turner. Now this is what they're reviewing. Watch Turner's hit right here. Is he out of bounds? Looks like a touchdown. Now they'll look right here. Try to judge it from this angle. Touchdown Cardinals. That's what Jim Tunney just signaled to the crowd, and you can hear their reaction.
Just an incredible play, and those are all the participants. There was no way he should have thrown that ball into that kind of coverage.
Ron Meyer showed some confidence in his young quarterback. He made the mistake right there. George underthrowing that pass and throwing into double coverage.
And for the first time today, the Phoenix Cardinals are out in front. Del Greco, extra point try. Good. The Phoenix defense has turned it around, and we'll be right back. Jeff George just had it blow up in his face on that last play. On a third down pass, he throws deep into tight coverage. It is picked off by Cedric Mack, who intercepts, then laterals to Marcus Turner, who scores for a touchdown. And the Cardinals lead 20-17. And Indianapolis trying to keep wild card hopes alive. And a 3-game winning streak going. Now trails for the first time today as Albert Bentley is off and running to the 29.
And think back, it was Bentley's fumble on the previous Colts possession that got the Cardinals a good field position. They had to punt the ball away, but pinned the Colts back. And that led to the third down play, 3rd and 6, and George underthrew the ball. Hey, this is a gut check for the young quarterback. Think back, first half he's knocked out of the ball game with the wind knocked out of him and maybe a slight head injury. He came back and he was fine. Led them on a nice touchdown drive a while back. And now he throws that interception. He has to put it behind him. He's done that his entire career in college and high school. He has to do it again here in the big time.
1st and 10 at their own 29-yard line. Down by 3.
Joe Nunn, who leads the Cardinals in sacks coming into this game with 6.5, now has 8.5 as he really wraps up the quarterback here. You see him at the bottom of the screen to the right here. There he is. He comes in and pounds Jeff George.
Second down. Here they come after him again. Bentley cannot hang on.
Again, there was pressure on Jeff George, and you can just feel the momentum has shifted, of course, as the lead has gone over to the Cardinals. Here's George under pressure again, throwing the ball behind Bentley, who had some blockers in front of him. If he gets that ball on the other side of Bentley, who knows? They might put together a big play.
Boy, since being injured and getting back in there, Jim Waller has been a terror on the pass rush.
I love that look, too. He's chewing on his mouthpiece, saying, okay, snap that ball. I want to get back in that backfield.
3rd down, 17 from their own 21-yard line. George unleashes a bomb. Incomplete. Intended for Verdun, and George and the Colts must punt.
And the fans here in the Valley of the Sun getting turned on by their Cardinals this afternoon. Looks like Verdun slowed down a little bit on that. He underestimated Jeff George's arm.
Ron Stark now standing inside his 10-yard line. Boy, he hangs a beauty. Sikahema, fair catch, but the Cardinals have good field position at their own 40-yard line. It's a 38-yard punt. All right, be sure to join NBC Sports next Sunday as we have more great action coming up beginning at 12:30 Eastern, NFL Live. Then some of you see Jim Kelly and the Bills take on these Indianapolis Colts with Eric Dickerson. Others will see a matchup between two teams knocking on the playoff door, the Seahawks and the Packers. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area.
Now the Colts defense has to come through. Right here, look out for a play pass.
Rosenbach at the 40-yard line, his own 40, 1st and 10. Lobbing one out there, intending it for Ricky Frohl, and the Colts had that one diagnosed perfectly.
That's a good job by the Colts defense. Their team, their side has lost the lead, and they come out after, a 3-and-out series. As there's 9:17 left in the fourth quarter. It could be 9:17 left in their season, and there are any hopes for a playoff berth, any hopes for maybe a winning season. And so they come out there and they stay composed, and they read that play action pass and just snuff it out completely.
2nd down and 10. Anthony Thompson, the long back, set in behind Timm Rosenbach. Thompson gets the ball, and he gets hit right at the 41-yard line, as it was Dwayne Pickett there with Jeff Harrod. Harrod makes the tackle.
He averages 8 tackles a ball game, Harrod does. Now, a lot of popping. You can hear the pads. They're pounding against each other right here. You got to credit this Colts defensive staff. They've done a nice job. They really have. Who are those guys out there? They got a couple first-round draft picks in the. You can see the defensive coordinator right there. He's imploring them to go on. They got a couple first-round draft picks in the linebacker position, but that's it.
That was Bill Muir, the defensive coordinator, and he's hoping that his defense can shut the door here on 3rd down and 9. A blitz and a big sack. Harrod is in there along with Dwayne Pickett. Exactly what Bill Muir's defense had to do.
Boy, that moves the ball back, too, quite a ways. As the 3rd down play, again, they came with the pressure. Watch 54, Harrod. He's off and running. A stunt with his defensive right tackle, Sam Clancy. He just fights his way through there. And Pickett comes up from the other side, from the outside. That's important to get that outside pressure. And you see Pickett had to limp off the field after that play as he had his leg landed on.
Camarillo will have to come up with a good punt here. Verdun waits for the Colts. They trail by 3, 20-17 with 8:10 left. Time, a bad play by Verdun, and they'll lose about 10 yards on the play back inside the 25-yard line. He's got to get up and make that play.
You bet he does. He's a good punt return guy. Came into the game leading the NFL, leading the NFC in punt return average, 13.7. He has to come up and catch it. You're absolutely right.
Hey, kick off your night on NBC with super bloopers and new practical jokes featuring the cast of Dear John and Quantum Leap, followed by the critically acclaimed series Life Stories. Then James Garner, Judith Ivey in a Hallmark Hall of Fame presentation, Decoration Day, an NBC world premiere movie. It's tonight right here on NBC. And it's the Colts down by 3 with 8:01 left from their own 23-yard line. Dickerson. Ripped down by Anthony Bell and Tim McDonald and everybody really out to the 25-yard line.
Still plenty of time here for the Colts, who really in the fourth quarter have not been able to move the football. Take a look at their fourth quarter possessions. The result, the fumble by Bentley, the interception on the badly underthrown ball, 3 plays and out in the current drive, of course, a short gain, a couple of yards for Dickerson. But they have a weapon on the sidelines, Dean Biasucci, who can hit from 50 yards. So they just need to get close, maybe tie the game up on this drive.
7:24 on the clock running, remaining in regulation time. Dickerson is the lone back. They go back to Dickerson, nothing. Yeah. Well, Garth Jacks might have lost in that dogfight when he tried to break that up and have his foot ripped apart, but he's back in there, and he makes a nice play there against Eric Dickerson, and it will become 3rd down and 7.
As he comes out, Zordich comes in, the safety, to take his place on the long yardage situation. If you missed that story early on, Jack said had some trouble with his sister's dog, and he had his foot chewed on yesterday. It's very questionable, doubtful for this ball game.
Very big play right now for the Colts. 3rd down and 7. George ad-libbing, and he connects with Bill Brooks. Beautiful job done by Jeff George, and Brooks makes the catch for a 1st down at the 36.
Yeah, big-time play by the quarterback, but also by Brooks. You see him there, the veteran receiver, who really has been somewhat quiet today, but watch the effort. You know, he knows his quarterback's in trouble. He recognizes it right here. Now watch as he fights to get away from the defender. It does just a terrific job to get open.
So he fought off Jay Taylor, ended up with the catch, and a huge 1st down for the Colts. Brooks kind of quietly having a nice day with 5 catches. Indianapolis at their own 36-yard line. 1st down. 5:52 left. The fake to Dickerson. The sack. That's Sadler. All the way back to the 27-yard line.
Yeah, this is a good effort by Sadler, who picked up a couple of sacks last week, too. You know, his game's really going to improve with Dexter Manley around, because I think Manley can help him a lot. You're going to have more people out there rushing the quarterback, and George just doesn't have a chance at all right here. This is a great drive. George comes back with a key 3rd down play, then he gets sacked again. It's a long yardage situation.
Boy, I'll say, 2nd down 19. That's Bill Brooks flashing in motion. George in trouble again. Incomplete. Try to dump it underneath to Albert Bentley. Bentley has not had a great day holding onto the ball, has he?
Yeah, but these passes aren't well thrown. In that case right here, I mean, look at Bentley as he's heading back to the huddle saying, give me a chance. And what George has to do is try to set his feet. He's backpedaling and throwing the ball at the same time. I know how difficult that is with a lineman in your face, but he doesn't have to throw the ball very far. Even, you know, just to stop and jump a little bit and throw the ball might have been better than to continue to backpedal and throw the ball as poorly as he did in the direction of Bentley, who is a very good receiver, had 9 catches last week against Cincinnati.
Well, there's your story. Down by 3. It's 3rd down, 19. Gets away from Waller. Unloads. He's got a man open over the middle, and he fell. Bill Brooks fell.
You know, there's Brooks. Again, he did a good job. Once he realized that George here had to scramble a little bit to get out of the harm's way. There's Waller again in his face, and George does a terrific job. He knows he has to pass the ball because he has too far to run to pick up the 1st down, and Brooks is there.
He slipped.
That is too bad.
He was wide open, too. Boy, great punt by Stark. Sikahema takes it on the fly. Good run by Sikahema.
Yeah, big-time play by Sikahema.
All right, let's check the 10-minute ticker right now. There you see the final scores from this afternoon. So you pick out your winners. The Bears with a big win in overtime. Kansas City continues. And the games that are going on now, 4th quarter scores. Raiders tie in Seattle. Boy, that's a big game for Houston and Seattle. San Diego laying it on the Jets. Dallas wins over New Orleans. And here at Sun Devil Stadium with 4:58 remaining, the Cardinals lead over the Colts 20-17. Here's Thompson, and he is dumped for a loss.
Oh, that's a beautiful play by Chip Banks. He has a tight end on him, plays off the block, and that's the thing about Banks. He's so fundamentally sound. He takes on the plays with the right shoulder. He stays in the ball game, tries to stay on his feet whenever he can. He had the one mistake early on when they got a roughing penalty on the passer. That hurt. But, you know, in every other way, he's come through today.
Phoenix leading right now, but can they hold on to the lead in the 4th quarter? That's the big question. They have blown a couple of games to the Giants, to the Packers, and have lost both of those games. Right now, they lead with 4:15 left and the clock running. 2nd down, 11. Rosenbach setting up a screen. Thompson
did not fool the Colts. That's a nifty play, and it was a double fake. They faked the run, he faked the rollout to his left, and then he had a throwback screen. As you can see, Rosenbach looking to the sidelines for guidance. Here's Thompson on the play. Okay, first the run fake. And then maybe he broke too soon on this play because the Colts were over there. There's Saragusa. You see Banks was down on the ground but came back to make the tackle.
So he bumped into his left guard, Derek Kennard, but Chip Banks was there and sniffed out the play. It is 3rd down and 5, and a huge play once again for the Colt defense because time becomes a very big factor if the Cardinals get this first down on 3rd and 5 with 3:20 left in regulation.
May not get the play off. He does.
He's going to scramble and get it. Now there's the added weapon of having a quarterback that can run. Rosenbach with a 10-yard run.
And watch a run here on the blitz. And Rosenbach recognizes it, breaks the tackle at the line of scrimmage. Sam Clancy couldn't catch on to him. We are spelling Timm correctly, too. That's T-I-M-M. The Rosenbachs also have a son, Todd, T-O-D-D. They like the way it sort of looked.
Joe Bugel really made a commitment to this kid Rosenbach when he came in here. 2 quarterbacks that hasn't missed a play, and right now he's calling all the right plays, protecting a 3-point lead. Jim Donovan, Jim Laslavic back at Sun Devil Stadium, Indianapolis. 3-game winning streak very much in jeopardy. They're down by 3, trying to get the ball back. First down. Nice run by Anthony Thompson, plus he stays in bounds, too. Keeps the clock rolling.
They did a very good job there.
Are you at the point right now, Jim, where Indianapolis starts using timeouts?
Yeah, you're getting to that point, 2:45 to go as the clock is stopped.
As a matter of fact, that's exactly what they do right now. Timeout Colts, 2:45 left, regulation time. They need a field goal, but first, they need the ball back. Jim Donovan and Jim Laslavic back with you, 2:45 remaining. Regulation time, Phoenix leading by 3. They have the ball, 2nd down and 4. The Colts have used a timeout. They have 1 left, plus the 2-minute warning. But they don't have the ball, and that's what they need so desperately on 2nd and 4 for the Cardinals. And another first down coming up as Thompson rips off a big run.
You know, the Cardinals have been running wide. They've been running wide. It's what you expect in a situation like this because those sweeps use up more of the clock. But watch what happens here to nose tackle Saragusa, number 98. He just gets blasted by the little motion man who came down and had the good angle. And then look at Thompson run.
Boy, what a stiff arm into the chops of Alan Grant by Anthony Thompson, getting a big hug right there from Tootie Robbins.
You know, his initials AT, they were saying afterthought because of all the action and all the platitudes going Johnny Johnson's way. But then Thompson comes in and has a good game last week, over 130 yards, and they're calling him awful tough now for AT.
Well, look at what happened today. Johnny Johnson comes back into the lineup after missing last week, and Anthony Thompson got his first start last week, and he rushes for 136 yards. But when Johnson became healthy, he went into the lineup today, re-injured his ankle. They put Anthony Thompson back in there, and he's got 61 yards rushing, and right now is running out the clock on Indianapolis. Next Saturday, NBC Sports World presents championship boxing and the bowling shootout. That's all coming up next Saturday right here on NBC, beginning at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Thompson. Boy, he's becoming a running back with a mission right now, down to the 30-yard line, and the clock running with 2:19 remaining in regulation time.
Yeah, he's doing his job, and this is going to tick down to the 2-minute warning right here. As the Cardinals are putting together the drive they need to put together.
That's Bobby Hammond talking to the official off to the side of Joe Bugel. Hammond with the Jets for so long. There's Ron Meyer. He's got 2 minutes left in the ball game. They're down by 3, and right now he can't get the ball back.
Hey, welcome back, Jim Laslavic and Jim Donovan, and you're taking a look at Dexter Manley. He will join the squad next week. He's eligible after spending a little over a year suspended for being a 3-time loser, drug testing. Manley is back, and Joe Bugle told us yesterday he will be activated next week, which is the earliest he can be activated. And Bugle, you know, he's taking a big chance with Manley. A 3-time loser, a guy who's going to be tested a lot. And,
I'll tell you what, he's not thinking about Dexter Manley right now. He's thinking about getting out of here with a victory. 2 minutes left to go. Anthony Johnson, another first down. What a running back this kid is proving to be.
Well, congratulations. It's been a tough year on this kid. You know, he's the Heisman runner-up. A lot's expected. He comes to camp after a long holdout. And Johnny Johnson, another rookie, a 7th rounder. Look at him. You know they love him here. It's such a great attitude. Listen to the crowd again. They love it. So 130-plus yards last week, 74 today. And the Cardinals go into that
Winning formation, I think they call it, right?
That's right.
The Colts out of timeouts. And I think they really let one slip away here this afternoon. Something really happened to the Colts after they jumped out to a 10-0 lead. They just seemed to lose all of their rhythm. They had a great running game going. Jeff George was having a real big positive day throwing the football, but they just couldn't get it into the end zone after that. They let the Cardinals hang around. And today's Ronald McDonald Children's Charities Player of the Game is that man, quarterback Timm Rosenbach. McDonald's and NBC donates $5,000 on behalf of all of the players selected in today's games to Ronald McDonald Children's Charities to help give kids a better tomorrow. Congratulations to Timm Rosenbach, as he is just 32 seconds away from getting the Cardinals their 4th win of the season and their 2nd in a row.
And you could see where Rosenbach took control of the game on that touchdown drive before the interception that led to the touchdown for the Cardinals. He really did take control of it. And that's it.
So Joe Bugle's Cardinals beat the Indianapolis Colts 20-17, and a missed opportunity for Indianapolis. Their 3-game winning streak comes to an end, and then maybe their wild card playoff hopes go too. That's it from here for Jim Laslavic. This is Jim Donovan saying so long. Now we send you to Mile High Stadium in Denver for the Raiders and the Denver Broncos. Have a good day, everybody, and enjoy the rest of that one.